Good morning. Welcome to the Sanctuary of the Spirit. I am Reverend Greta Sesheta. I'm delighted to welcome you here wherever you are on your journey, whatever it's taken to get you here, whatever discoveries you're making, whatever challenges you're having. You are most welcome here in this circle of light and delight. Very grateful for those of you joining me here on Zoom, for people on Facebook, for people on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this community. I guess this is a perfect time to pray, isn't it? It's always a perfect time to pray. So we just take this moment in whatever way that you prepare yourself. Take a deep breath, turn within. Think of turning away, turning off anything that would be a distraction, an interruption, and center down in the heart of the infinite presence that is God, that is everywhere, that is good and only good, that only knows itself and only knows good. It created everything and it called everything that it created good, and that includes the I am of each one here gathered wherever we are at whatever time it is. God is being God. God is expressing itself through every breath. God is expressing itself through every thought, through every word, through every moment of conscious awareness, and even beyond what is consciousness to us, even beyond what we can be aware of. God is still being God, and God is only good. And this is what we surrender to. It is what we pay homage to. It is what we honor. It is what we delight in, this holy presence that is good, that is revealing itself everywhere. We give thanks for this opportunity to gather, to worship, to be aware, to grow in the Spirit, to allow the Spirit of God to reveal itself through the life that we live. We bless this ministry, all those who are participating in spiritual community anywhere at any time, everywhere that people are praising God and intending to live in love. We know that everything that we do this day is to the glory of God, and we give thanks that this is so. And we just let it be. And we do so by saying, and so it is. Amen. Whoa, that feels good. So I am grateful that people are still coming in and still finding us, still finding their places. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Last week, our topic was cocooned, not broken. And know the storm and grow your wings. Be aware of where you are and be willing to come out of the cocoon and take flight, basically. And I wonder if you had a chance over the week to maybe capture an image in your mind and think about that image as you were going through something. And I'm wondering if you had a chance to feel what that was like. I'm wondering if you had a chance to really listen to someone without judging, without trying to fix them, without trying to make anything happen, but just giving the gift of listening. Even if it was just listening to your own thoughts. I'm wondering if you had the chance to decide to pray for someone that you hadn't really thought about praying for before. Or maybe you hadn't ever really thought about praying for somebody yourself. And lo and behold, here's the opportunity for you to do so. Well, I want to start with a reading that is by my practitioner, Aisha Mason, and it's called On the Practice of Blessing. And she starts with two different quotes. The first one says, "Blessing is the lifeblood through the universe." And that's by David Steindl-Rast. And the second one is to bless is to put a bit of yourself into something. Macrina Wildacre and Joyce Rupp. So this is what Aisha writes for us this morning. The practice of blessing. It seems like a small thing, a private act, a whisper, a silent witnessing. The idea of blessing may conjure up images of saints and holy men, medicine women, church ladies, and grandmothers. But each of us has the capacity to bless life, to affirm the spirit of life in all of life around us. Each blessing, a prayer, an evocation of grace, proclaiming divine protection and favor. Each blessing, an offering to the Most High, speaking into the Spirit the word of life for one of life's expressions. Blessing, an activation, a remembering of the divine nature and potential in the person, place, or condition upon which the blessing is spoken. Your blessing, a communion, a pouring of love into another, a watering of the seeds of a person's divinity. Bless your body, your living space, your neighbors, your building, the folks up and down the street, those walking their dogs, the children, the person who annoys you in your car, the other drivers, fellow travelers on the bus. Bless your co-workers, your bosses, the cleaning and security people. Bless the homeless, those just barely getting by. Bless the fearful, the grieving, those struggling to hold on to hope. Bless those contending with health issues, children wondering if they will ever belong. Bless those who wonder if they will ever be loved. The customer service person on the other end of the phone, your loved ones, those you find hard to like or to love. Bless the leaders, the governments. Bless yourself that you may see rightly as God sees, with love. Bless the sky. Bless the earth, the waters and the air. Bless your drinking water and food, trees and animals, flowers blooming. Bless the joys and the tragedies, the journey to healing and triumph. Bless this world evolving into its awakened consciousness of divine love. And this is the affirmation. Today I dedicate 1 minute of every hour to magnifying God's grace and good on this earth. I practice blessing the world that I see. Aisha Mason. Aisha is encouraging us to practice blessing the world. My goodness, that could seem like a tall order, couldn't it? This world that is unfolding right now looks like in the middle of the dog days of summer. In the middle of August, there's not so much going on like of a celebratory nature. There's a lot of other stuff. But for example, there's no Super Bowls, no World Cups, no Valentine's Day or Veterans Day, no 4th of July or Juneteenth. Those big events tend to be opportunities for us to be distracted from the things that are going on in the world. And right now, this month, there's nothing really big like that that we could all get excited about with a whole bunch of other people together. But I love this prayerful thought from Howard Thurman. As if he was praying for himself and praying for all of us. He said, "Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. keep in my thoughts the best that I can think about, my high resolve, so that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. No matter what is going on, let me always remember what I'm here for, what my purpose is. But sometimes we do forget. We may momentarily forget when something big is going on, but when there's nothing like that looks like it's important happening, we can kind of slump down into the everyday, what we would think of as the daily grind, just getting through things. And there are things for us to get through. As I was driving yesterday, I saw a man. He was on a bicycle and he got off and he was looking in the trash can for bottles or cans that he could recycle. I saw a woman sitting outside of a convenience store, and she kind of had a mat that she was spreading out on the ground to sit on, and she had a bag of some things, and she was kind of looking through to see what it was that she really did have, and hoping that someone might share with her as they pass by. So there's a lot of that always going on. And then there's another kind of extreme, something that I did yesterday for the first time. I tuned into this Zoom program. There were just a few people on there, and there was one person, and she was sharing pictures of things that are kind of ordinary. At least you can find them if you're looking for them. But they were fascinating in their own way. So she showed a picture of this owl, and it's called a pygmy owl because it's so small. It weighs about as much of a candy bar. And like other owls, it has these big piercing eyes, but on the back of its head, there are two spots that look just like the eyes on the face. So some predator coming to get it would think that they were attacking it because they think they see its face, but really it's not the face. And this little owl that is so small, that has this big voice in the forest, has been able to overcome predators that are 3 times its size. So anybody looking at it would think that little thing, but there's something very powerful in it that you wouldn't get if you didn't realize it. And she showed the picture of this fish, and that it had all kind of beautiful blue markings on it, and orange and yellow and different colors. And she was sharing with us how blue is not a real color. Blue is, it's very rare to see blue in nature. You can see blue in printing and painting and that kind of thing. But like when you see a bluebird or blue butterfly, that isn't a blue color. There's something on the wings that they're little teeny tiny shapes, and they act like little microscopic mirrors, and they catch the light in a way that makes it look like blue to our eyes. But if you took a feather from a blue jay and you ground it up into powder so that the little mirrors couldn't reflect, it would just look like brown or gray. And I thought, wow, that's such an interest. I just thought blue, there's so many wondrous things that are happening, that are appearing, that we miss because we are so involved in other things. And sometimes in a state of desperation, sometimes we say, I was just desperate to do this. And there's a difference between acting from desperation or acting from inspiration. And so much of the time, what we see and experience brings us into desperation, while there are just as many or more things that could be bringing us into inspiration. And so we are in this kind of space of a delicate balance. And I had something that I was going to talk about today that was completely different from this. But when I went, I usually take all day Saturday to work on my talk on Sunday. And Friday night, I was just wondering what people need to hear and what they need to know and what they need to realize to help them to get through these times of desperation, these times of when it looks like, the world is just falling apart sometimes. And we have these catastrophes with the earthquakes every place in Venezuela and Indonesia. A couple of years ago, we had a warning that there was a hurricane coming to California, which we never have hurricanes, and really how frightening people were about that. And then, the hurricanes in Hawaii and the tropical storms and the wildflowers everywhere, wildfires too. We have wildflowers and we have fires. So many opportunities to get kind of knocked off our places. I was talking last time about compassion fatigue. There's so many things that we can feel compassion about, but they don't stop coming. It's like before we can even recover from the last thing, here comes something else. So I was wondering what to do and how to share and what was important to say, not just to spend time talking about something, but to say something that people want to hear. And I guess I was asking myself, what is it that I want to hear? What is it that I want to know? And it's coming to me right now, one thing that I could share that I have shared before that would help us right now, especially in this moment and in any moment, is something that I do before I get up out of bed every morning, because I've been resting for a while or I've been reclining for a while, and now it's a new day and it's a time to be able to meet it. And so I always think of grounding myself. I always think of letting my grounding cord down to the center of the earth, and like a magnet or something that bolts me there and it holds me fast. I used to be afraid that maybe I would just float off the edge of the earth and I would just float off somewhere. But grounding keeps me anchored to the earth. And so I just tell myself that I am receiving and accepting earth healing energy, earth loving energy, and that it's circulating to me and through me and as me, and that I'm just siphoning off anything that is not 100% of the light, so that there is just pure love circulating, and I'm grounded, I'm attached to it at the center of the earth. And then I imagine that I have this space called a crown of energy, or the crown chakra, or that I'm extending all the way up to the center of the highest heaven. And I'm receiving and accepting divine love energy. And it's flowing to me and through me and as me. And I'm filled with the glory of God. I'm rooted in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. And then whenever it is that I get ready to get up, I feel myself standing, rooted in the Spirit and only here for God. And as God is all that there is, and God is love, as I take my first step, I'm stepping into love. No matter what else is going on, there is this sense of being anchored and being in alignment with love. And I guess the most important thing that I'm talking about today, when I'm talking about letting it rain and letting it rain, I'm talking about love. And there isn't anything that's more important to know about or to talk about or to be about then love, because love heals everything. Everything, just aligning with it. Not even trying to bottle it and sell it or use it in some kind of way, but just to be in the space of alignment with love. I'm kind of looking at my notes because I'm kind of all over the place today, but it's like Friday when I wondered about what it was that I could share and what was important. Monday, yesterday, Saturday, when I woke up, I had this thought. I just had a thought and I wrote it down because I sleep with a journal on my bed with a pen, because a lot of times ideas come early in the morning and they're light. They're divine ideas. So if I don't anchor them and put them down somewhere where I can remember, they, like a dream, they kind of fade. But I wrote this thought down and then I put the journal down, and then another thought came and I picked it up and I wrote it. And I put it down. This is the way it happens. I think that I'm done and I put it down, and the ideas just keep coming. And so that is the experience that I had yesterday morning, writing these ideas that were flowing to me about the power of love and how it is something that we can use, but more than that, it's something that we can be, that we can know, and that really does change everything. So I was thinking about the people that woke up yesterday without any idea of what they were going to be able to eat. They had no idea where any kind of food would come from them. And I was thinking about the people that didn't even sleep at night because they were so anxious and they were so worried about things that were happening. And I was thinking about people that have no place to sleep. So they're in a park or they're at a bus stop. And I was thinking about those people with compassion. And I was thinking about me and you. If we're not one of those people, I was thinking about how it affects us to be aware of those people, and how there's a tendency to think about, well, I can't do anything. When I'm thinking about I can't do anything, I've forgotten that I'm anchored in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I'm not here for anything else but to know that and to be guided by that. And that leads me to what Aisha was talking about, blessing. Having a supportive thought about the people that we used to say, aren't as fortunate as we are. The people that, when we allow ourselves, we can be overcome with compassion for them. Being rooted in the Spirit and only here for God changes how I think about that. Because I know that the presence of God is everywhere. And I know that as I'm knowing that, that makes a difference for those people. And it makes a difference in my awareness of those people. So I guess here I have to completely just go off script and just share that last night I had a dream. And you know how dreams are, they're all over the place. But I dreamed that I saw this woman and she was huddled up, sleeping on a bench, on a bus stop or someplace like that. And she had all of these bags, like all of her possessions. And her head was covered up and everything was gray. And that's just where she was. And I was aware that that was where she was. And then somehow in the dream, I was in my mother's house. I was living there with her. And there on the couch was the lady that I saw on the bench. And she was gray and she was covered up and she had all these bags of all of her things. And I thought, what is this lady doing on our couch? But then I realized that my mother was so generous and so loving and so wanting to help everybody. She said the lady could be there. So it had to be okay with me because this is what my mother wants. And so it becomes okay with me. And then in the next part of the dream, I am lying on the couch. And I wake up and I realize I've been lying on the couch where this lady has been sleeping with all of her things. And I was thinking about, germs and things like that. And I was all concerned about it. But somehow her things weren't there. And I was on the couch where she was. The next thing I realized, the lady is up and she has taken a shower and my mother has given her clothes and she's talking to people and other women that we know are accepting her, and she seems like she's getting herself positioned, she's doing things, she's a part of things. And then I realized that one of my daughters has written her a check for a whole lot of money. Like $1,400 written for this lady. And I woke up wondering about this dream, and maybe you have a sense of what it meant for me, or maybe what it could mean for you as I'm sharing it. But I was thinking about how generous my mother was and how loving and how accepting she was. And she's been gone for over 40 years, and yet she's still teaching me something about being loving and being generous and being kind. So just sharing, I don't know what that means to you. But I'm finding out what it means to me in terms of anchoring myself and realizing who I am. And I guess that it was yesterday I was thinking about how there is a divine plan that's unfolding. And all of these things are happening in our lives, in the world, and in our own personal lives. The experiences that we have of losing things that we love, and people and money and security and health and all of those things that makes it feel like the world is crashing down on us right where we are. But I know that that is not part of what God plans for us. That's not part of, everything is part of the plan, but it's taking the turns that it's taking because of the choices that we are making. And we can say, well, yes, it's the big, powerful people that have the money that are making all the decisions. But I'm thinking that each one of us, like that little owl, each one of us is powerful and important and special. And each one of us makes a difference with something as seemingly small as a blessing or a prayer or a kind thought or a rethought about something. And this is just kind of one of those talks, but honestly, after I do my anchoring every morning and I just have this kind of space where I go in for healing and blessing people that come to my mind that have asked me to pray for them, and people that I'm just praying for because I love them, and people that I'm praying for because I hear about them and things that are going on. And honestly, Joe Biden came into my mind as he's having this challenge with cancer right now. And Trump came into my mind as he's having challenges. Honestly, it was maybe the most full time that I have remembered that I didn't have him in a special kind of category, like of people that are hard to pray for. But it was like prayer is for everybody. Blessing is for everybody. Of course, including the people that we would think probably needed the most. So I'm just sharing that to say I'm feeling that as a place that I'm growing, because, a little last week or so, it was hard for me to think of, oh yes, and all of these people too, because we're all God's people. We're all created out of the space of love, and our purpose is to be here for love and as love, even when we don't realize it, even when we think that something else is way more important than love, like status and reputation and wealth and security and all of those things. And I'm not saying that they are not important or have their place, but I'm saying love is the thing. Love is the space that we get to share, that we get to express. It's everywhere already. It's just that we have packaged it or put it aside for later or for special occasions or for some other thing. But love is what you get to ground yourself in. Love is what you get to walk in. And then, if we're thinking of things that we can do to help other people, one of the major things would be to help ourselves, to be more whole, to be more loving, to be more generous, to be more compassionate. And as we're doing that, we can't help but be a help to other people. Because as one of us is lifted, we're all lifted. We're lifting each other up. And so, no, it's not about, the external things. The external things will come because the all good is a part of the blessing that we're meant to have. I know that you already know all this stuff. I know that I'm preaching to the choir. I'm mostly preaching to myself because it helps me to understand these things that I'm understanding more and more. So we all come equipped with love. It's factory installed already, and there's a money-back guarantee on it. You can't go wrong when you are aligned with love. It sounds so trite. I've been talking about love all morning, but there's nothing more important to know about than love. Love doesn't solve problems. The problems are dissolved in love. So you don't need to be taking your problem to God. You just get to know that where the problem is, God is. And when you know that, the whole thing changes. You begin to see another perspective of what is needed here. So you can think of love as the solution, and love can be something like an answer. Solution can be an answer, and a solution can also be a liquid. There's something that's put in, like water. You put salt in water, what happens? It dissolves. Any difficulty, any challenge dissolves in the presence of love. It dissolves in a way that is for the highest and of the highest. And this is a truth that we can be sure of. And this is not pie in the sky, Pollyanna stuff. This is the truth about love. And I'm thinking maybe we don't talk about it enough. We don't give it enough attention. So I hope I'm not boring you with this story. But being in love is about rising above the appearance of things to a higher sense of knowing. I'm thinking that it's the solution to any challenge that you're having, any challenge that I'm having. Not that it takes the challenge away, but it makes a space for us to grow through the experience. Whatever it is, we're growing through it with the Holy Presence. So let's see. Aisha was talking about how blessing puts things back together. I'm talking about how blessing, being in love, helps to put the world back together. If you're aligned with the presence of love, think what the world would be like if everyone was aligned with the presence of love. It's not an impossibility because it's contagious, because people catch love. So you can be part of that shift. I can be part of the shift towards a world that we really want to love in, that we really want to live in, by aligning ourselves and anchoring ourselves and acting from this space that we're calling love. And just notice with a blessing, who gets blessed? Not just the person that you're thinking of with love, but also you as the person doing the thinking. You as the person sharing the love. Only thing that can happen is for that love to come right back to you. Let's see. The commandment is to love God and to love your neighbor in the same way that you love yourself, and in the same way that you love God. And loving God can be pretty simple, especially if you think of God as a loving God. But it's loving the neighbors, that's the part. Because by the very fact that they're neighbors, they're not you. They're different from you. Different colors, different speech, different dress, different cultures, different food, all of that. It makes it hard to love the neighbor because you can't trust the neighbor and because they're so different from you. But that's the very point, that each of us is one in God. And a neighbor is not just the two people that live on either side of me. It's the people that live in Gaza. It's the people that live in Ghana. It's the people that live in Hawaii. Those are my neighbors, and the instruction is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love can't occupy the space that we're not loving in. Love needs to have its own space, otherwise it gets crowded out by those other thoughts that we have. So I was thinking about that song, shower the people you love with love. That's pretty easy. But shower all the people with love. Rain doesn't fall on just the good people and not the bad people. Rain doesn't just fall in Houston and not in Alabama. It falls where it's meant to fall. And so to shower with love, we used to sing in the choir, let the love wash over you. You can think of showering the people you love with love, and just keep expanding the people that you love until you realize that you can love everybody. And that as you're showering the people you love with love, you're showering the whole earth. The people that you think that you can't love, those are the very people that need the shower most of all. Wow, the lady in the dream showered. And everything changed. At least it changed how I saw her. Maybe she was always as pure as she ever was, before or after the shower, before and after the clean clothes. This week, see if you can practice grounding yourself in love and extending yourself in love and aligning yourself in whatever your idea of love is. See if this week you have the opportunity to bless other people. And to shower the earth with love. Just to imagine it. And if it's hard for you to imagine things, just pretend that you can. And see what happens for you. Because as you're showering with rain, with love, you're going to get showered on with what you're showering. And that is always the case, that whatever it is that we're giving out comes back to us. Well, I hope that this has meant something important or interesting or enlightening or something for you. And I am giving thanks in this moment for the opportunity to share, for the opportunity to worship and to honor and to recognize God in a way that feels right for us, that feels somehow encouraging or inspiring or interesting. I'm giving thanks for the opportunity to bless everybody and everything, to shower everything with love, to know that each of us is loved and each of us is precious and each of us is special. The people that we see on the pedestal and the people that we see on the pavement, each one is a beloved of God. Each one is on a special, unique journey back to their connection, back to their realization of the life of God as the life that they live. It is a life of plenty. It is a life of peace. It is a life of health. It is a life of joy. It is a life of companionship and support and direction and guidance and joy. It is here for each one of us, already installed and evolving from within each one. We get to see it in one another. We get to bless it in one another. We get to give thanks that each of us is guided and protected and directed and lifted and loved. No exceptions. We give thanks that all things really are unfolding perfectly, rightly, and well. We bless those who have asked for prayer. It is done. It is perfect. It is whole. It is complete right now. We bless those who have not asked for prayer, who don't understand the power for prayer, who think that they don't even need any prayer. We give thanks for the opportunity to bless each one and to see each one as whole, perfect, and complete, even now, which is the way that God sees all of its creation. We abide here in peace and harmony and unity and oneness, in gratitude and praise, in health and wholeness, in abundance and prosperity, in joy. And we let it be. And so it is. Amen and Ashe. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for sharing it with people that you know might be interested in it. Thank you for trying the things out. Thank you for having another thought. Thank you for being open to new ideas. Thank you to being open to old ideas that you somehow attune to again, wisdom that you remember and wisdom that you share. Thank you for supporting this ministry with financial gifts if you're able to. Thank you for seeing this as a way of spreading love and harmony, supporting this ministry so that other people are able to find it as well. Thank you for doing your part, creating a world that we all want to live in. Thank you for letting me know how this ministry is supporting you or how it could support you better. Thank you for letting me know what you would like to have prayer for or what you would like for me to talk about. Thank you just for being. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. I thank God for this opportunity to be with you in just this way. Just a couple of quick announcements. This Saturday is a choir reunion, the Golden Age of Agape Choir Reunion under the direction of Ricky Byers. And we are celebrating some of the people that made their transition recently, including our beloved Margot Kaufman of the Agape Choir, who always brought fried chicken to our potlucks. So we're going to have some fried chicken. Don't worry about that. But in the main, it's plant-based potluck, if you're able to. It is at Ricky's house. And most everybody that knows Ricky knows where she lives. 2 to 5 o'clock. We're going to sing. We're going to pray. We're going to love each other. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a wonderful time. And if you are part of that choir, you're very welcome to come. It's on the Facebook page. It's called VCC for Vintage Choir Club. Also, if you search for Lynn Beal, it's on her page. It's on my page, or it's going to be on my page. And there's a place on the page to let us know that you're going to come, because we have to have enough chairs and space for everybody. And if you can, also let us know what you're going to bring. So that's next Saturday, the 22nd, 2 to 5 at Ricky's Choir Reunion. Next Sunday, I'll see you here, God willing, and we'll be sharing some more dreams, maybe, or visions, or whatever it is the Spirit of God brings. And the following Sunday will be the last Sunday in August, closing out the month, and I'll be here, and I also will be at the Pasadena Church, Pasadena New Thought Center at 11 o'clock from 11 to 1 if you're in the Pasadena area or you like to join online. That would be wonderful. Thank you all so much for my friends here with me on Zoom Live. Thank you to the people on Facebook. Thank you to my YouTube friends. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you and I love you. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Bye for now.